You wake up convinced today will be different. You tell yourself you'll meditate, skip the news, drink green tea, maybe even go for a run. You do all the right things, but by noon, the familiar knot is back, the same racing thoughts, the same restless energy. It feels like betrayal. You follow every piece of advice, but anxiety clings on. Why? The real reason your anxiety won't go away is not that you're doing self care wrong. It's that anxiety is doing what it is designed to do, and you're responding in ways that unknowingly keep it alive. Anxiety is not a defect, it's an alarm system that evolved to protect us. In moments of real danger, saber-toothed tigers, sudden storms anxiety activated rapid, life-saving responses, heightened awareness, faster heartbeat, instant readiness to flee. Those responses are powerful and automatic. Today's threats are rarely literal predators. They are deadlines, social judgments, financial uncertainties. Yet the brain uses the same machinery. The problem begins when the alarm system becomes conditioned triggered by patterns of thought, sensations, or memories that pose no immediate danger. Once conditioned, that alarm can start firing in response to ambiguity, anticipation, or even the mere thought of danger. When the alarm goes off, most people react in predictable ways. They try to suppress the feeling, fix the situation, or escape the sensation. Avoidance is perhaps the most common response. You skip the party to avoid embarrassment, you cancel the presentation to avoid sweating through your shirt, you avoid thinking about the future by distracting yourself. Avoidance provides short-term relief. The anxiety drops when you step away, but that relief is exactly what strengthens the pattern. The brain learns that avoidance works, so it doubles down. Over time, the world shrinks to whatever is safe, and anxiety grows more powerful in the remaining corners. Another common response is to medicalize the feeling. We live in an era where there is a pill, a supplement, or a therapy for everything. Medication, therapy, and lifestyle changes can be extremely helpful, but they are not magic bullets on their own. Medications can dampen symptoms, and certain therapies teach skills to manage them. Yet if those strategies are used primarily to avoid discomfort rather than to engage with the underlying patterns, the cycle persists. It's like turning down the volume on an alarm without stopping what's throwing the alarm. The crucial turning point, often overlooked, is that anxiety is perpetuated by the struggle with anxiety itself. Worry about worry, fear of panic, and the constant analysis of symptoms all feed the system. This meta-anxiety creates layers. You're anxious because you're anxious. It becomes self-referential and self-sustaining. So what breaks the cycle? The answer lies in a counterintuitive principle. Approach instead of avoid. Not in a reckless, heroic way, but in a measured, experiential way. Exposure gradual, purposeful contact with the situations, sensations, or thoughts that trigger anxiety recalibrates the brain's alarm. When you deliberately and repeatedly face the trigger without catastrophic consequences, the brain relearns that the danger is not real, or at least not as severe as imagined. This is the mechanism behind effective therapies, from cognitive behavioral approaches to exposure-based treatments. It's also why learning to tolerate discomfort, rather than eliminating it, is crucial. Equally important is shifting the relationship with anxiety. Instead of treating it as an enemy to be obliterated, consider it a messenger that has been shouting a warning far too often. Curiosity replaces contempt. Mindfulness offers a way to notice sensations without judgment, to let thoughts pass like clouds rather than chasing them. Values-based action gives you a reason to move through fear toward a meaningful life. In short, anxiety persists not because you're weak or doing everything wrong, but because the survival system in your brain has been reinforced by avoidance and fear of the feeling itself. The path out requires willingness to step into discomfort, to learn through experience that the alarm can be silenced by exposure and acceptance, and to rebuild a relationship with anxiety that recognizes its origins and refuses its demands. That is how anxiety loses its power, not overnight, but steadily, as you meet it with steadiness rather than escape.